and we're going to get into my special guest, Natalie Hurd. This book, Howard Street, was written by her dad. What year?
1968.
1968. Bestseller.
New York Times bestseller. Number 10.
Everyone in New Jersey has read this book. This is like this is a staple in the Black community in Newark and the surrounding areas. Everybody should read it. Her dad, such a great guy, just full of knowledge, wisdom, and inspiration. So tell us about the book and tell us what made you go back and have it reissued.
So Howard Street, like I said, was a New York Times bestseller in the 1960s and 70s. It was number 10 in 1970. My father is known as one of the forefathers of street literature. So if you like all those urban novels, he was one of the ones that started it.
Nathan C. Hurd.
Yeah, and he also is one of the forefathers of prison literature as well, because he wrote Howard Street while he was incarcerated for armed robbery. And because of, so my grandmother took the manuscript to her attorney and was like, he's really smart, he doesn't belong in jail.
Wow. And
the attorney read it and shared it with a friend of his who was a literary agent, and the agent took it to a publishing house. It was published on Dial, Macmillan, Signet. He had, it really topped the charts. In 1969, it was optioned to become a film, but they felt it was too graphic for.
Yeah, it gets really greedy.
Yeah. There's some really graphic scenes.
Well, not now. I mean, if you read it now, it's going to fall in line with most of the books, and that's why I'm so glad that it's out again, because it's not as graphic as it would have been considered back then, because now everything is.
Yeah, everything is a lot more, because it's about a love story between a pimp and a prostitute, and then she falls in love with his brother, who is like a square. He's straight laced. So, and the brother falls in love with her back, and then the two brothers are struggling basically to win her heart. So you just have to.
And so the thing about the street literature of old, as it's become its own animal, it has its own media. I see a lot of Don Diva and all those sorts of things, media publications that just talk about the days of drug dealing, the days of prostitution and pimping. Back then, it was selling drugs and pimping was a big thing, it still is. Not really pimping as much as selling drugs,
right?
But
so the reason why Howard Street is a must read from if you read urban books, this is the top of the charts. My father has been compared to Shakespeare.
Wow.
So just the way that he wrote, the way that he depicted the dialect between people, it was just really powerful. And then some of the images and the way that he webbed the stories together of different people's lives. In here is police brutality. In here, some guys go and rape a woman, and they find out afterwards that the woman is one of the guy's mothers.
Wow.
So could you imagine what happened to him after that? So
so you're putting a film together.
Yeah, I'm in the process of, so Showtime optioned the rights, which when you option rights, you basically ask the author for permission to shop around the rights and try to make it into a film. Showtime optioned the rights in the late 90s. And if you remember the movie Jason's Lyric, the screenwriter who wrote Jason's Lyric, his name is Bobby Smith. He also wrote the screenplay for Howard Street.
Wow.
So Bobby Smith wrote it. Showtime felt it was too graphic for TV at that time too. They passed on it, and now we're back at the same juncture where Dr. Dre has expressed interest in doing a soundtrack.
That's gonna be dope.
And so
I can see that.
Now I've been in the process of just trying to secure the funding to make this a reality. And so now I am a film producer as well as a screenwriter. So you can expect to see Howard Street somewhere on your screen soon. And
That's
then my
great.
father wrote 4 other novels, which will be coming out soon as well: House of Slammers, To Reach Your Dream, When Shadows Fall, and A Cold Fire Burning.
So that's great. I just love how you're keeping your dad's legacy alive.
Yeah.
I think that he used to be involved in politics too in Newark.
Yeah.
Not really politics,
Kind
but
of.
like the kind of like the Black Panther movement, like Amiri Baraka, and all of them.
Yeah, my father was, so after Howard Street, he actually, and my dad didn't even graduate from high school. He had a 10th grade education when he wrote Howard Street, and he ended up getting an offer to teach on the college level. He taught at Fresno State, which is the University of California, Fresno. He taught
Did he teach
black,
literature? Or
yeah,
Black
black
history?
creative writing and black literature. And then they had an issue because all the students voted him as the best instructor on campus. He was a big, tall, 6'4" black man. Be ready for his story coming out soon. But they weren't ready for that. And so
Wow.
he ended up leaving there and coming back home and teaching at Rutgers. Then he went and worked at the city of Newark as Ken Gibson's speechwriter.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Ken
Mayor
Gibson, right, was the
Ken
first
Gibson
black
was the first black mayor.
of Newark. And so he was his speechwriter. He just did a whole lot of things.
So do you want how?
Oh, he was also in movies. My dad was in a film with Grace Jones.
Oh wow.
It was actually directed by Ossie Davis.
Wow.
Paul Winfield was in it. Grace Jones. It was called Gordon's War. He was in The Undertaker too. Like my father was.
So are you
that
gonna write
dude.
other films?
Yeah, I've written A Cold Fire Burning, which is based off of one of his other novels. It's about a love story between a black man and a white woman, set in the 70s, but I changed it and set it in present day. In it is police brutality. In it is like a Black Panther type of party, or Black Lives Matter. It could be any. Like
So
of
if your
those.
father was still alive, what do you think he would think about Black Lives Matter and all these movements that are going on now?
Well, my dad actually, and I know you mentioned Amiri Baraka earlier. My father and Amiri Baraka were very close. They were friends, and I practically kind of
Grew up with their family.
grew up with them.
So
So I think that he would be very much interested in the forefront.
Yeah.
When I read some of the things that he's written, it's funny because it's almost like there's nothing new under the sun.
There isn't,
like
yeah.
like everything that he wrote about that happened in the 60s and 70s is happening right now. The same theme, police brutality, black and white, the struggle between races, just so many things that are going on today, all of the political uprisings, all of that happened back then, but we didn't have the technology that we have today to really capture it and record it.
I think now, we have the means of sharing all this information. It just makes it seem like it's more. But like the riots that happened in Newark back in the day destroyed the whole city. It changed the whole structure of the city. And I think race relations in books and novels like this, just sharing the experience of different races. Like, I want to see everybody read this book. Where we grew up, Natalie and I went to high school together. Our little town, South Orange Maplewood community, is really kind of small. So we went to school with like all different races, all different religions. We have like a really unique upbringing, I would say. And then besides the fact that we went to a school that was kind of like, I mean, if it was on TV, it would have been like Fame, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Lauren Hill went to our school.
Yep. AJ Calloway.
Sam Proswell.
Proswell. Yeah.
From the Fugees went to our school. The guy from Jaws, the guy that wrote Jaws, went to our school. No. Was it
Jar
Jaws?
Jar Binks, Star Wars.
Star Wars. And then the guy that wrote Jaws too.
Spielberg?
Did Steven Spielberg write Jaws? Okay, maybe it's not
no.
Jaws. It must be a different movie. Sorry. But SZA went to our school too. She was just recently
Angela Yee.
Oh yeah. Well,
She was after us.
She was there.
She was like a year or two after us.
But anyway, I think that
Jennifer Williams from Basketball Wives.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people should, like I said, get the book. I think that if we all exchange just experiences as a culture, it would just open people's minds up. I think that when we were in high school, we didn't know. I think that some people did, but we should have been on this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that we should have been on this, and by
I
now,
wasn't walking around telling people like, oh, you know who my father is. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
people that knew.
right?
Oh, we went to school with M2May's kids.
Yeah.
Cool in the Gang's kids. Yeah, we hung out with them.
So I mean, there's just music and artistry all over where when we were growing up. So I'm glad that this is going on, and I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
And if you ever come back to Atlanta, come back, and we want to be in your movie.
So, well, I'm casting right now actually for a film that we're filming this summer, but we're casting in New Jersey.
It's people from New Jersey watch our show.
And I'm also casting for 2 reality shows.
People in New Jersey watch this. So tell people how they can reach you.
So you're welcome if you want the book to go on to, let me take a copy of it. You're welcome if you want Howard Street to go on to www.howardstreetbooks.com or Howard Street Book. I have both. www.howardstreetbook.com.
Okay, and what about the film? Because we want to be in it. What do we need to call or email or text?
You can email me at Howard Street Press. It's howardstreetpress@gmail.com.
Okay.
So let's see if anybody wants to be. So what I'm casting for the reality show is any female who has dealt with a guy in jail.
Oh, well, now I should go there then.
Or if you're dealing with somebody in jail now. And then I'm also doing a casting for females that are or were in abusive relationships, either are or were in abusive relationships.
Oh, well, let me just give me the date and time, and I will show up for
But this
filming.
is in New Jersey.
That's fine. Spirit goes to New Jersey. So just take my overnight bag and hop right on Spirit.
The Spirit leaves, say, just give me whatever you got.
Spirit, just give me some gas money. I got gas money. I can hop a flight and be there in no time, child. Well, we're going to wrap it up, and we're going to wish that GT gets well soon. And thank you for coming.
Thank
Jay
you.
Black, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about this episode?
Nah, I don't know if we got her social media, though. Did you get your social media handle?
Oh, yeah.
She don't even be on there like that, y'all. But
What?
go ahead and give it to
Or
her.
Okay.
email for Cat, usually they say for press.
Oh, Howard Street Press, HOWARDSTREETPRESS@gmail.com, or you can log on to www.howardstreetbooks.com.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you for watching Innovative Black Stations, Connecting the Dots. Also, check out DJ Samora's Top 5 Countdown and all the other shows on LiveHipHopDaily.tv because they are always popping with different information, different shows, different topics. And we will see you next week. And you'll never know who's going to be back on Connecting the Dots. Peace.
Thank you.